Do you feel like there's something missing in your life that maybe, just maybe, there's a reason why you are here and you have something to do? Have you ever wondered who you are and why you're here? That's kind of like a classical, age-old question that we as humans ask all the time. So I recently did a talk on what is your destiny and kind of this, how it is more like expressing the essence of who you are as opposed to actually having a career. Well, there was a couple of things that I actually left out of the talk, which was how do our charts play into identifying our destiny? So, our life purpose is really an expression of who we are. So when we understand who we are, then all the bits and pieces of us, our soul and our personality and our traits and our gifts that we have, they all come together in this really beautiful package. And this package that is us has special role that we play in the world. So when we figure this out, then we can step into and embrace being who we are and not judge ourselves as, oh, well, I'm different than that person, and oh, are they going to like me or not? And we can just be who we are, because the being of who we are, it transmits out this essence, and we touch other people's lives, we touch all their auras, and we can bring about the change that we're here to bring without even going to battle, lifting our sword and brandishing, our weapons. I mean, it's who we are is our biggest tool. So, when you take a look at your human design or your Astro-Numerology charts, there are certain, more like key areas, they're like important pieces that help you start identifying the essences of who you are and lay out like the life theme. If you were to relate it to a story, it would be like the plot line. So in human design, the conscious and unconscious earth and sun and earth, they create a certain dynamic. There's a tension, there's a support, and they outline what it is that you are here to do. And in all of the other planets, in the gates that the other planets are in, they all are supporting. They're like your tools, and they're the support, and they're the fine-tuning of this story. And then if you add in astrology, now the sun, the moon, the ascendant, Saturn, and Pluto, and the nodes all give you a theme of what you're here, what your soul wants to do, your personality, what you're here to learn, and what evolutionary practices are you bringing forward. And so when you add that to the human design, you start getting a bigger picture. Now add in numerology. And numerology has three main elements. It's based on your birthday and your full birth name. And these are your soul essence, which is, here we go again, it's what you're transmitting all the time that you don't, you're not even aware of, but everybody else feels it. And then you have your life purpose, which is the tools that you brought with you from, your cellular memory or other lifetimes, however you want to look at that. But it's what you brought with you. And then you have your destiny, which is more like your career, more like how you would express these tools and this essence of who you are. And then you also have your soul's desire. You can calculate your soul's desire. And what's really cool is you can understand what it is you have to overcome, what do you have to master to step into this role. And then if you want to go even deeper and get into what is your soul's agenda, you can go into the Akashic Record. And from there, you can understand, where's your soul coming from? What was your soul? What's kind of the theme, the basic energies that your soul is working with, that's playing with, that's experimenting with, and deepening its wisdom. And, and our soul wants to come here and learn something. It wants to expand itself. It wants to, it doesn't care what the experience is. It can be the most horrible experience, or it can be the most wonderful experience. Your soul wants that experience, and it takes it in and digests it and takes that wisdom and takes it on to where it's going next. So when you combine all these things, which is something I do in my really in-depth reading, and you can do this all in little pieces, one step at a time, or you can get it all combined together. But when you put all these different pieces together, it helps. It's like putting together a puzzle or building, it's like if you have a broken jar or whatever it is, and you're putting all these pieces together so that it's taking shape. And then you get a much stronger sense of who you are. And then as soon as you know who you are, then you know why you're here, because they go hand in hand. And once you know why you're here, then it's an automatic, it naturally flows from you what you do. Like maybe you teach people, and you automatically talk, and it's just, it just naturally flows. So the first step, though, is you have to know who you are. And you have to really deepen that. And it's not something you can just learn overnight. And what happens a lot, which I've done myself, is you learn all these things about yourself. You get readings, and you study programs, and you take classes, and you learn all these things, and you get little bits, and it all goes up here in your head. But how do you bring it from your head into your life? And that is the real challenge, and that's the real art of actually living your destiny, is to bring it in from something intellectual into something physical, tangible, experiential. And this is something that, I work with you, help you bring this, integrate this into your life, because, as you learn something, you take and you say, oh, well, like for me, I'm a fire person. Oh, well, that means you go out and activate people. Well, then you start noticing how you go out and start activating people. But then it's not just simply that. Well, what am I activating them for? And then you go and you research some more, and then pretty soon you find out, well, you're activating them to connect with themselves. And then it's like, well, why do they want to connect to themselves? Well, and then you go study some more and you learn, and then you say, well, it's because it will make their life more meaningful and more fulfilling. But the trick is that this still can stay very intellectual. It has to come into the body. You have to experience it from the body before it really makes sense. And that's how, we often say that learning is like we're like an onion, and you peel off the outer shell, and then you peel off the next shell, and you peel off the next shell, and you peel off the next shell, and eventually you start getting closer and closer to the core, which is like the essence of who you are. And the only way you can do that is like getting the intellectual knowledge and then going out and experiencing it and seeing how it really shows up in your life. And then you get that wisdom. You take that wisdom and you bring it back and you deepen that. And it's a cycle. And it's not something that happens overnight, even though we all wish that it just happened overnight. And the truth is, we do know who we are. I mean, our inner being knows who we are. And there's a part of us that knows who we are. It's just that society and our childhood and our teachers and everybody's kind of like, no, you have to fit into this box. And this is our tribal conditioning. You have to belong. You have to do all these things. And so we suppress who we really are until we get old enough and say, forget it. I'm going to rebel. I'm going to break free. I am going to be who I am. And so I'd like to invite you to step on the path of your destiny. It is scary and it is exciting. And most of all, it's fulfilling. There's something that happens when you go and you do something that is something so natural to you. Like maybe you're a crafts person and you make something, or maybe you're a coach and you connect with someone and you see they get the aha. Or maybe you're a healer and you move the energy in such a way that they feel better when they leave. I mean, whatever it is that you used your talent, and I'd like to invite you to notice this in your life. Whenever you have used your specific talent to touch another person's life, there's something that comes back to you that is so meaningful and so fulfilling and so uplifting. It's like it fills you with life. And I'd like to invite you to explore this, because it's been happening for me over the last few years as I slowly and carefully step into my own purpose, and it's so enlivening and it's so satisfying. And to me, that is the reward of having the courage and overcoming the fears to actually walk the path of your destiny. And I'd like to invite you to step on your own path and to move forward and to awaken and have the courage to let these pieces of you that are so valuable, let them be visible, and let that wake up your inner joy, and and fill your life with meaning and purpose and reason. And when I've noticed I have a lot of elderly cousins. They're in their 90s, and I notice that what keeps them alive is they have things to do. They have a reason to live. And so that makes me think about the fact that when you have a reason to live, it's what draws in the life force, so that it keeps our bodies strong, it keeps our minds sharp. And without that, we just kind of fade away. So if you would like any assistance, in learning more about yourself, or to step onto this path of your destiny and support and overcoming the challenges and the hurdles and getting and deepening your own experience, I invite you to my website, and to sign up for private sessions, or just individual pieces, or coaching, or whatever it is that you need to support you, so that you can feel vital and full and like you're here, and feel that satisfaction of accomplishing something. And so you can come to my website, and I'd love to work with you. It's been a great journey for me, and I know it will be a great journey for you. And it never ends. That's the good part. You never find the end, because if you did, well, why are you here?